Hello everyone, welcome to Teacher's Tips. I have a good one for you today. I'm going to discuss two problem solving questions involving the topic of integers. So let's get started. Okay, so in this question we have a diagram where they have given us a few integers. Now our job is to find for the values of P and Q. So there are a few keywords that you have to know for this question. Number one is the word product. So product basically means the value or the answer that you get if you multiply two or more numbers together. Okay. And then you also want to identify a row. So this is the row of numbers. So we have 12, -3 and P. So if I multiply these three numbers together, that would result in a product. Column on the other hand is these three, 9, P and Q. So if I were to take 9 and the values of P and Q and multiply them together, I would get another product. So what the question is trying to tell us is that we have to find the values of P and Q, but not just any value of P and Q. You want to find a value of P and Q in such a way that if you multiply all the three numbers in the row and you multiply all the three numbers in the column, you must get the same product. Okay, so that's the objective of our question today. So I want to first start off by taking these two numbers and I want to multiply them together to get the product of -36. I will then try to find the value of Q. So I want to think of the product of 9 and Q. I want to think of what would Q be if I want to get the same product as here, -36. So 9 multiplied by what value would give me a -36? So that means Q's value would be a -4. So then I am going to now redraw my diagram, but this time I'm going to replace Q with the -4 that we obtained over here, right? So now what I want to do is I have to figure out what is the value of P. So before that, let's multiply the numbers that we already have. So we have these two that gives us -36, and then we have these two that also gives us -36. So finding the value of P is a no-brainer because you want to find a value of P and you want a value that does not in any way change the result of the product of -36. So if that's the case, the only logical explanation or the only logical value to P would be 1. Because if I put 1 as the value of P and if I multiply 12, -3 and 1, that would give me a -36. And then if I take 9, 1 and -4, that would also still give me a -36. So the final answer for this question is P equals to 1 and Q is equals to -4. Let's look at the next one. So this is a question where we have Stephen and Joseph. Okay, so these two, they are coming out from a school entrance at the same time, but they are both walking in opposite directions with each other. Now these kind of questions are very famous in exam. Somehow students have difficulty associating integers with questions like this. So I'm going to show you actually two methods on how to solve this question. One is very closely related to positive negative values that we've learned through integers, and one more is just based on diagram. So the best way to understand problem solving question is to actually start off by sketching out a diagram that will help you to understand what the question is all about. So I have a diagram here which shows the school entrance right in the middle, right? So here they say that Stephen walks 48.2 meters to the right. So I'm going to draw an arrow to my right hand side, and so this arrow would represent the distance of 48.2 meters. So right now this is where Stephen is. From this position, Stephen then walks back to the left for 53.6 meters. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw an arrow to my left, and this arrow is now going to represent 53.6 meters. So right now this is Stephen's position. Okay, so now let's talk about Joseph. Okay, Joseph comes out of the school entrance and walks towards the left hand side for 32.7 meters. Okay, this is the distance. So right now this is where Joseph is. From here, Joseph turns back to meet Stephen. So basically Joseph is now going to walk here and they're going to meet up together. Okay, so what we want to do is we have to find the value of the distance from where Joseph is here to here, the meeting point, right? This is what we need to find out. To understand this better, we are going to look at two methods. Now, if you look at the diagram, it's quite easy to figure out how to find the question mark, right? We have to find the total distance from here to here, and then we just have to subtract the 53.6 from the total distance and we would get the remainder, right? So my first method would implement this way of thinking, where I'm going to add up both of these distances and then subtract the 53.6 from the sum of the two. So I'm going to put this in a bracket because I have to do this first. So I have to solve this, and this is going to give me 80.9 meters. Subtract with 53.6 and we'll end up with a 27.3 meters. Now the same question, I'm going to now show you how to do it in terms of positive, negative values, which is also quite easy because the first thing we want to think about is direction. So the right hand side, every time when we are moving to a certain distance or certain direction, if you see the word right, that would represent positive. So that means 48.2 meters to the right would result in a positive 48.2 meters, and left would represent negative value. So that would mean that 53.6 meters, I will have to write it over here as a negative value. Okay, so solving this is something that I've discussed in my previous videos on basic integers. If you haven't watched that, then I would suggest you go ahead and do that. So 48.2 meters minus 53.6, that's going to give us a negative 5.4. So let's talk about Joseph. Joseph walks to the left, so that's going to be a negative value for 32.7 meters. So I'm going to write that down as negative 32.7 because he's moving towards the left. But then he turns back. But how far does he turn back? We don't know. So that's a value that we are not sure. So we are going to represent that value as an unknown. But we do know that when he turns back, he's moving towards the right hand side. So that is why we are representing a positive value here. However, it's going to be equal to negative 5.4 because he is going to go, he is going to end up meeting Stephen, right? Their meeting point is going to be the same. So therefore, I'm making it equal to negative 5.4. So to find the value in this empty box or this unknown value, we want to go back to basics, right? So let's say I have A plus an unknown equals to B. How do I find the number in the box? I'll have to take B and subtract the value of A from it, right? So the same concept, I'm going to take negative 5.4 and I want to subtract it with negative 32.7 meters. Now, keep in mind the subtraction and the negative value to 32.7 are separate from each other, but you cannot write them down side by side with each other. So what you want to do is you want to put a bracket to separate the two symbols from each other. So now to solve this question, we are going to get rid of this bracket by multiplying the negative after and before the brackets, right? We're going to multiply them and that's going to give us a positive value. So rewrite the question. Negative 5.4 plus 32.7, that's going to give us a positive 27.3 meters, which results in the same answer. This is section B. So question B is asking us to state the distance in meters of their meeting place from the school entrance. So this is the school entrance and this is the meeting point. So what they want us to find out is the distance between the two places, the school entrance and the meeting point. We have to figure out what is this value over here. So in order to do this, we are first going to take the 48.2 meters because it's movement to the right hand side. It's a positive 48.2 meters. And then this is moving, this arrow shows movement to the left. So 53.6 meters is going to be a negative value. So what we're going to do now, we're going to solve this and this is going to result in negative 5.4. Now negative 5.4 simply means, the negative simply means that it's pointing towards the left or it's headed towards the left, but the distance is 5.4 meters. So when I write this down, this is going to be 5.4 meters to the left. That's the distance from the entrance to their meeting point. So the left direction is represented by the negative sign. So final answer, their meeting place is 5.4 meters to the left of the school entrance. The same question, I can solve it looking at a different angle. Now if I look at this point of view, right, this is where Joseph walked towards the left, 32.7 meters. So I'm going to represent, I want to find this distance from the school entrance to their meeting point. Now this is the distance that I want to find out. So I'm going to represent 32.7 with a negative value because it's movement towards the left. So that's negative 32.7. And the 27.3 is movement towards the right. So I'm going to represent it with a positive 27.3 meters. Solving this would give us a negative 5.4. Again, this means that the direction or the distance from the school entrance to the meeting point is 5.4 meters towards the left hand side. The left is indicated with the negative sign. So final answer, their meeting place is 5.4 meters to the left of the school entrance. So that's it guys. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel if you found my videos to be useful for you. Bye.